Hello, fifth graders. To start off with, I miss you a lot. It's just not the same without you in the morning to start off math every day. So, as you see on the schedule that you got, that you're going to have two math lessons a week for the first 4 weeks here with some of the journal pages mixed in there. We haven't done a lot of journal pages this year. We did some in groups, but I have faith you can do it. So today's math lesson is on 111, and it'd be best if you have these notes in front of you so you can follow along. If you don't have them, that's fine. And first off, I know it's weird for you seeing me in a video like this, and believe me, it's not the same talking to a computer versus talking to you all. So today's lesson 111 is a review of something we did talk about in class before you left. And it's just multiplying a decimal number times 10, 100, 1,000, or so on. Anything that has a 1 followed by a bunch of zeros. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just knowing where that decimal place is. And once you figure out where the decimal place is, you count the number of zeros in either the 10, the 100, or 1,000, and you move the decimal. And since we are multiplying, we need a bigger answer or product, so we have to move the decimal to the right. So anytime you want a bigger decimal number, you move the decimal to the right. So on this first slide here on the left, some of these examples you can see are multiplying the 1 and 234 thousandths times 100. All we do is we see 100 has the two zeros. So just so you can see the two zeros that are right there in 100. So we just move the decimal two spots. So 1, 2, and we end up with an answer of 123 and 4/10. So that's really all there is just count the number of zeros, move the decimal spot to the right, that many spots. Same thing here. We have 7 and 892 thousandths times 1,000. We have three zeros there. Excuse me. We have three zeros, so that means we're moving the decimal spot three places over, and we end up with 7,892. Again, just keep it simple. Now, this does not work, like in this case, if we're multiplying this times 10. It wouldn't work if we're, say, multiplying it times 20, 30, 400. This only works if you have a 1 followed by zeros. So again, in this case, we have 1 0. We move the decimal over one spot. Again, move it to the right because we need a bigger product. Or more multiplying, we're going to get a bigger answer. Same thing with this number here. So we're looking at that one, and hopefully you can see that color. Maybe I'll change to a darker color. There we go. This is my first video, so I'm learning as we go here, so bear with me. So we have two zeros here. So we have to move our decimal over two spots to get an answer of 9,988 and 77 hundredths. And one thing I noticed, I forgot my comma. Commas, decimals are important to have them in the right spot. So then one last one to review. We have 234 thousandths times 10. Again, 1 0. We have to move the decimal to the right because we need a larger number. And we end up with 2 and 34 hundredths. Now we look at this example over here. We start with 2 and 5/10 times 100. So we counter two zeros. Well, it's okay. So I moved over 2 spots. There was an empty space there. And hopefully you remember how many times in math class we said an empty space, we fill it with a 0. So we fill it with a 0. We end up with 250. So that's really all there is to what lesson 111. You just count the number of zeros that come after the 1 and move your decimal over that many spots to the right. And it's the same for dividing. If you have a decimal and you're dividing by 100, well, you just count the number of zeros. But since we're dividing, we move to the left since we need a smaller number when we're dividing. But either way, multiplying, dividing, count the number of zeros. For multiplying, move the decimal to the right. For dividing, move it to the left. So you do have some problems in Google Form to do with this one. If you are able to do it online, please submit it online via Google Classroom. If you don't, just do it on paper and more information to follow. This was a short video. It was a very short lesson. The future ones are going to be a little bit longer because they're a little bit tougher topics that we'll be talking about. Again, feel free to call me or email me with any questions you have. And we all miss you so much. So take care.